Nene Leakes and Carlos King are going on tour, starting with a 2-city stop in February. On Tuesday, February 24th, we are headed to Raleigh, North Carolina. On Thursday, February 26th, we are headed to Nashville, Tennessee. Tickets are on sale now. Make sure you get them before they sell out. See you there. Raindrops. Alexis Jansen and I are back to recap the latest episode of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Alexis, finally, Cece Peniston boys, we are getting the drama.
It's getting better every episode. And then I saw the trailer for next week and I'm like, oh my gosh, I want to I wish I could get them. I'm like, can I become best friends with one of them so I can watch it with them as they receive them?
Who would you want? Okay, of all the cast members, I'll tell you my brain does already know my answer. And look, maybe you do too, but ladies first, of all the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, which one would you like to be friends with in real life? And tell me why.
Can I only choose one?
I mean, choose your number one, and I'll have you choose a second. But
Well, okay, well
I want to make this hard for you. So yes, choose one.
here's my real answer without getting having parameters around it. I would love to be friends with all of them. I think they all have a unique something to them. None of them rub me totally wrong. So I would love to be friends with all of them. But if I had to choose one for comfort reasons, because I do know her, it would be Kyle. And I know that's your number one. You don't even have to tell it. Every raindrop knows that. But she would be my number one just because I already have a friendship with her for over a decade, or like, friendly with her for over a decade. But then Erica Jane would be a hoot and
Mhm.
Dorit. So those would be my, yeah. But
Mhm.
I mean, like I said, I love even Sutton and Kathy Hilton. I just get a kick. It's like I just want to kick back. And,
Mhm.
like when they were doing the IV, we'll talk about it. If they were doing the IV thing and then they're drinking water or drinking wine as you're trying to get pumped up with all these
Mhm.
fluids. I'm like, okay, I can't. It's
No, I'm not say to you, I could not agree with you more. I love it so much. Obviously, everybody knows that mine would be Kyle. I call her Kyle Legend Richards.
uh,
So yeah, listen, there's nothing else to say, but I will say this. I will say this. We're gonna get into the episode. After this episode, if I'm strictly basing on this episode alone, my number two, Carlos Reginald King, would love to hang out with and be friends in real life. It would be, drum roll please, Rachel Zoe.
okay, yeah, we can't. I can't even believe I didn't mention her in mine, but yeah, she's just
Doggy,
perfected.
that was me. Godiva Brody, that was
And
me
I was
with the
drum
drum roll.
rolling.
Right. Rachel Zoe activated. Ladies and gentlemen, it's me. I'm with Alexis Jansen, Godiva, and Brody. Simmer down. Okay, look, see raindrops, I'm always working. Now, look, we have to get to the continuation of. Stop. We have to get into the continuation of Dorit's birthday dinner, where she and Amanda had a sparring off, where once again, Dorit, was trying to get an answer out of Amanda 2 weeks ago in regards to what she said about her. Amanda said, it's the anniversary of my son's death. Let's not talk about it. Dorit proceeds to. So in this episode, it's a continuation where Amanda says to Dorit that she was verbally um assaulted. Did you say was it accosted?
Accosted.
She was verbally accosted and had to give a definition. And in this moment, Amanda throws Kyle under the bus and says, I didn't say these things about you. I actually just agreed with Kyle. And then Alexa Jazz said the shit hit the fan after that. I'm like, Kyle, look to see if you have skid marks on your back because Amanda just threw you all the way under the yellow school bus.
Yeah, but I mean, in Amanda's defense, she kind of did because they played the flashback. It wasn't
Yeah.
like it was an Amanda thought. It wasn't like Amanda sitting there trying to talk and gossip about anything about Dorit. She simply agreed with Kyle and said, "Yeah, it might not be a good thing." So, but my 2 cents are this. First of all, it's literally one of the dumbest fights that these women have ever had. Who cares, Dory, if Kyle and her Amanda don't think that you should be talking as much about your ex? This is not something. This is making a mountain out of a molehill, in my opinion.
Mhm.
In my opinion. And so I'm rolling my eyes the whole time at all of it, to be honest. But
Well,
what?
no, the thing I will say this. I actually agree with you in the sense like this. These ladies, number one, are allowed to have an opinion. And yes, Doree has every right to stay if she agrees with it. Now, when it comes to Kyle, I think what the audience, let me not say that. I think what Dorit is missing is the fact that you guys went on multiple double dates as friends. You guys were couple friends. We've seen numerous scenes of you guys hanging out together, having a good time, laughing at Erica Jane making a comment in regards to telling Garcelle's son to shut up or something along those lines, right? Like we've seen you guys have a jovial time. Kyle obviously has every right to have an opinion based on look. I understand you may feel this way, but when you, Dorit, brought up PK's alcoholism to everybody within earshot, he went on Alex Baskin's podcast, the EP of the production company who produces the show, and said that he had a problem with it. And I even knew before he said that on Alex's podcast that he would, because anybody would have a problem with you disclosing their alcoholism. Because number one, that person has to even admit that they have a problem. So you disclosing it before they do was wrong. Now you're saying what a bad parent he is. And it's sort of like, look, I'm not saying that's not who PK is. I don't know these people. But it is to me wrong. But Alexis, what do you think? Because again, you've been divorced twice. Is it wrong that a friend of yours is telling you, hey, Alexis, I think publicly, maybe you shouldn't bash your ex-husband in the public eye?
Yeah, and this is where it gets tricky on this episode because typically I would agree with Rachel Zoe, where she's like, look, we're amongst our friends. We should be able to be open and honest with our friends. The only caveat to that, which I don't agree with, is it's on a national television show. So if I want to go talk to my best friend, or let's just say Tamara Sue, okay? Let's say I want to go talk to Tammy Sue. If I do it on camera, that is different than me venting to her on a nature walk with our dogs up in the hills of, OC. So I feel as if the problem is, yes, Dorit should be able to vent. She should not be doing it on television where everybody in America is going to hear it. It's just not okay. I mean, I don't think it's okay to bash your ex and a group of women either. Like even if they weren't filming a TV, like okay, let's say Jim and I got into a huge fight and I'm at lunch with 5 of my friends. I'm not going to sit at that lunch and go blowing smoke about how mad I am about the whole entire fight that Jim and I just got into, the father of
Hmm.
my children, right? My divorced ex. So
Hmm.
I just feel like Kyle is right, and the fact that she says Dorit's just she's not the best version of herself. I think in 5 years, when this dust settles, Dorit's gonna wish she would not have said half the stuff she said about PK.
Yes, and I actually agree with you 100%. And that's why I was looking forward to talking to you because you have the experience of going through a divorce. You admitted to us that you went through 2 divorces when we as the audience only knew of one because of you being on the show at the time. But look, one thing that is right when it comes to Dorit that I would love to get your opinion on too, when you are going through a divorce, it is one of the most painful experiences of your life. And I do think what Dorit is experiencing is pain. And I get it. And I think too, listen, I think Kyle and Dorit are both right in their own ways. I think Kyle has every right to say, as your friend, I am trying to help you as your friend. And I think Dorit is right when she's like, as my friend, I don't need your advice. I need you to listen. And that's when Rachel Zoe woke it up and told everybody, well, as somebody who is currently going through a divorce right now that was publicly announced today, all of this is bullshit. And I think what Dorit is trying to say is be her friend.
Just give me a hug. She's saying, I just need a hug. I don't want any of you to give me your 2 cents right now. She's not in, and I've said this a couple podcasts ago with you. Dorit is not in any headspace, which is why her and Kyle are butting heads. She is not in any headspace right now to have constructive criticism from her immediate group of friends. She just needs
Mm-hmm.
a hug, and that is where Rachel Zoe was right. All Dorit wants and needs is just everyone to hug her, whether she's handling the situation properly or not. I think Dorit needs to hear that from her mom or from
Yes.
not from her group of friends, especially Kyle, who you've already got friction with. They're not going to make it past this, Carlos. I'm telling you right now. They're not going to make it past this for a couple years. I think Dorit has to get out of this cloud of exactly what you just said, where divorce is one of the most painful things you can go through because it is a death. It's a death of a family and a life that you were building and thought was going to be your end of your life, right? So then
Yeah.
you lose that, and that's a death, and you have to get over that in a way. I can't say it's a death because it's nothing like when I lost my mom, but like
Mm-hmm.
it's something you still have to get over. And so and it takes grieving takes years for some people. It takes, it's not as hard for other people for certain things, but Dorit is in the thick of it and we are viewing it on national television. So you got to just give her a hug at this point. And Kyle does need to stay out of it. Erica Jane is right. Kyle needs to back off and just not even talk about what PK has said to Mauricio. Don't even ask Mauricio questions. Just stay out.
Yes, and I am a firm believer of, and this may be unpopular, I'm not sure, Alexis. I am the firm believer of when I divorce or break up with my man, my friends need to as well.
Yeah, gosh, that's a really good thought. Here's the problem. I was married for 13 years with Jim for 14. Okay. I have 3 children with him. We had a lot of friends that we'd been friends with for 14 years. It's really hard and I always told every single person, even though some people would come to me and be like, we're Team Alexis, we're on your side, we're so glad you finally did this, whatever. But I never want to hear that. I did not want to hear it. I just said, nope, I don't want anyone to pick sides. I want everybody to just be friends with who you want between me and Jim. I'm not going to have any bad, even Drew and I still have some of the same friends. Most of them are in Canyon Lake because that's where he lives. But it's like, I, I don't feel that way. Maybe if it's just a boyfriend, that's different. I don't know, Carlos, because I don't know. I mean, my best friends and okay, like I have in my circle, it's very, very small. I have 5 good friends, and that's really it. I mean, very good friends with other people, but I have 5 friends that are 3 of them that I call every day about everything, like sisters, and 2 others that are very, very, very close. I would expect probably those 5 to be a team Alexis and do that, but the rest of but still be cordial. Maybe not necessarily go out with any of my exes and their new
But
five.
what about like texting them?
First of all, none of my friends should be texting my husband or my ex ever anyway, unless you need to ask them about a business idea. There should be zero reason any friend should be texting an ex, period. Now, Kyle and Dorit's situation, we said this last week, and I want to know what you think about this. I feel like is different because this is a very sticky situation since all 4 of them are friends, right? So we're friends. So do
Yeah.
do you think now watching this episode, because last episode more's happened from last
Mhm.
do you think that it was okay for Dorit to say, I want to sit down with Mauricio?
No, I don't. I think,
Oh,
listen,
wow. Because you know that's coming. You saw the
I
screener.
know, I know. And I said this to you last week. And raindrops, you tell me what you think. I, Carlos King, once again, Dorit asking in front of Kyle to meet with Mauricio was a payback for Kyle texting PK. Now, granted, Dorit did in front of Kyle's face. Fine. At the end of the day, my thing is this. What purpose does it serve for Dorit to meet with Mauricio? The only reason any spouse should meet with a friend of your estranged spouse is because you want a reconciliation, right? If Dorit wanted PK back, let me speak to his friend. Hey, your boy's going crazy. I'm willing to talk to him. You got to put some sense into him. Blah 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 blah. If I have such venom for my estranged, soon-to-be ex-husband, I don't need his boy to talk to me. There's no conversation we need to have that will make me change my mind about how I feel about my estranged husband who did something in my marriage, not our friendship.
And the only reason I think I disagree with you is because I have been through a divorce and the children were involved. And I feel the only perspective I go from on this, and I probably wouldn't have this perspective, mind you, if I didn't have children and have been divorced. So maybe that's why we're so different because you don't have either of those at this time in your life. But
Right.
I I put myself in Dorit's shoes, and if my divorce is becoming so toxic, and I have tried and exhausted every other avenue that I could do, I damn well may call his best friend and be like, can I please sit down and talk to you? I want to hear what you are hearing from PK because maybe you're not getting all of the advice. By the way, when you plan private, like surprise celebrations, you end up getting every one of your husbands or ex-husbands or ex-fiancés cell phone numbers in your phone because you're doing it all behind his back. So that's the only reason I would ever even have any of their cell phone numbers, period. I would never have them because I'm calling to see how's your wife doing. I'm going to call your wife, you know? But like,
Hmm.
so for PK or for Dorit not to have had the number until that night, that they were at that dinner with Kyle, and Kyle's like, yeah, I'll give you the number. Yes, go sit down with them. I see the other side of it from Dorit's avenue of I really want to, I want to see what I'm missing here because for the sake of my children, my ex and I need to start figuring out a way to be compatible.
Hmm. Yeah.
Your side
Okay.
does make sense. It does.
I see your point there. I see your point I see your point in making that I'm going to talk to my estranged, soon-to-be ex-husband's best friend so that he can talk some sense into him about how we both should show up
Give me
as
clarity.
parents.
Or give me clarity. Tell me what I'm doing wrong. Maybe Dorit needs to hear from Mo what PK is mad about Dorit for, or where this all this venom is coming from. It could be all of those things could happen. There could be this next week is going to be the bomb. I'll tell you that.
Oh,
It's going to be.
absolutely. But the biggest bomb, baby, was all of a sudden it became Kyle versus Dorit. Now, let me tell you something, Alexis. I like petty drama when they were both mocking each other, saying, "Do you remember?"
Yes, I remember
Brr.
Dorit's lips when she went. Remember, I'm like, girl, I can see the filler in your lip right now when you do that. Don't do that word again. Because the camera's like right there, and I'm like, oh, I could. There's the filler.
No, and then Alexis, my other favorite part, because at this point, Kyle makes a dig saying, like, look, you talk too much, which just so you know, Alexis, if you don't know, Andy Cohen, when he was hosting the reunion, that season, it was a big topic that Dorit is long-winded and that she talks a lot. And then
Okay,
Andy Cohen yawned at the reunion while Dorit was talking. And then she goes, am I boring you, Andy? And he goes, oh no, I was just. So the cast started laughing because again, they all said, told you to read your long-winded. So
I
when
get,
Kyle says to
I
her,
get it now.
when she says like pretty much like you talk too much. Oh, that's old. That's old. That's why she said that. But Dorit, who was on fucking fire this episode, when she starts to act like a fucking mime, Alexis Jackson. I let me tell you something. I don't laugh out loud when I watch reality television unless something is so belly hurting laughing. Alexis, I screamed at the TV. That was the to see Dorit behave like a mime was genius. And that's why she's one of my favorite reality stars. I love her.
She is on fire this season. I mean, she's I just I've watched it a couple episodes before I ever started doing this one with you, but I've always thought she's just awesome. But it was hysterical, and I do laugh out loud a lot of times with these women because I kind of can put myself in the situation of them, and I'm just like, damn, that was good. Because people think you like sit and rehearse lines to be on this show. You
Well, some do, like some do.
I don't.
I'm not
I
gonna say
don't
which
think that
one.
a lot of them do. I think just from me sitting in the chair of all the confessionals
Yeah.
and even being in the hot heated seat when you're, with all the women and even on here with you, and then something comes to your mind and you say it, that's just your wittiness. And most women that are on this show have to be witty. And I don't think people sit and go, okay, what am I going to say? What line can I say? I just don't. I think that a lot of these women are just freaking funny as hell. I mean, and
Dorit and Dorit's one of those women. Dorit is so deliciously hilarious. And the one thing I love about Dorit, and I said this to you before, I'm loving Dorit more these past couple of seasons because she reminds me of who she was when she first started. She was unapologetically herself. She was inappropriate in terms of saying things that we were all like, "Oh shit, Dorit, we thought it, but who says it?" For example, when Amanda was saying how in her 40 years on this earth, she's never cried after a dinner party or been talked to that way. And Dorit goes, weren't you in a cult? Alexis! For the second time this season, I laughed out loud. I had to rewind it.
you you need to DM Dorit how much you loved her this episode. You need
Dorit, if you're listening,
she needs a hug.
because I know you are, just so you know, all the girls listen to us. I'm telling you, Alexis,
Full of it. They do not even have enough time in the day to hear our little ratty voices.
I run into housewives all the time. And I ran into one Beverly Hills housewife last year. I'm not gonna say who. I'll tell you off record. I had a run-in with a Beverly Hills housewife, and I said, "Hi, I'm Carla." She said, "I know who you are, girl." And she was like, "I love your podcast, and thank you for having my back."
Well, the only reason I believe anything you're saying is because you took your damn glasses off, okay? Take your glasses off. I'm like, okay, people tune in. Okay, raindrops, put your ear up because he's getting ready to be honest
Put your
about
ear to
something.
the fucking street. Yes, yes, yes. So
Only
no,
reason I believe you. Okay, wow. Well, girls, that I just want all of you to know that Alexis Jansen said I wanted to be best friends with all of y'all. So, okay, keep that in mind. Well,
so
Brownie.
to read, I can't exclaim more how Dorit was the force multiplier in this episode because the way she threw the dagger at Amanda, and I love Amanda, the girls gasped. They all said, okay, Dorit, you went too far. I gotta be honest with you. I don't think Dorit went far. I think it was match, set, point. And it's one thing to go after someone's children, family, divorce, to have a clapback of something you said in the press. I didn't think she went too far with it, but what do you think?
Are you talking about went too far with the cult?
Yes, yes.
Well,
The girls gasped and said, Dorit, Dorit, oh my God, stop. No.
no, I think everything's fair game at that point. But I also, like I said, I think this is the silliest fight that's good. It's getting good, but it's like it's one of the stupidest things ever. Like you're talking about me about how I shouldn't be talking about my divorce, whatever. Okay, there's so many bigger things and fires I need to burn in a day. I would let this go and be like, okay, well, I don't really like that you're doing that, but I'm moving on. But maybe it's because there's not a lot else going on for the women to have controversy over, and they need to keep us entertained. Um, but yeah, I don't think the cult conversation or comment was off color. It's kind of like true. But it's all out there. It's not like Dorit went and went researching. It's already out there on the internet about or like it's not like Dorit told a secret.
Well, I was gonna say she did research her.
Yes, that exactly. Thank you. What I meant is Dorit did not tell a secret that she shouldn't have told about Amanda being in a
Correct.
cult. Amanda had already posted it and talked about it in her book and talked about it online, so it's out there. So it's not a secret, and so it's fair game, babe. It's fair game.
It's fair fucking game. And look, I didn't think that was too far. I thought Dorit went too far when she told Kyle to shut up. Like,
Yeah.
shut up.
Yeah. Well, Kyle and Dorit were both going back and forth between the remember and then I mean, they
Grow up.
grow up and then shut up and then I mean that's why I said I think they need a year to simmer off. So hopefully filming's done for them now and they can have a little space because I think Dorit has to heal a lot before they become good friends again. I think then Dorit can see that Kyle was just trying to be her friend. I don't Kyle does not have a bad bone in her body about what she's doing or
Right.
saying about Dorit. She's not sitting here trying to tick Dorit off. And it
Yeah.
is true, whichever of the girls said, oh, Kyle said it. When Bose says anything, Dorit accepts it and will hear it. But as soon as Kyle says the same exact thing, it's World War II. So it just Kyle needs to just keep her mouth, together, like a little.
What were your thoughts on Bose's interjection when it came to the Amanda piece? Because it then became this big discussion about whether or not she can handle being in a group setting where people talk to her differently, and that's just how life is. I love Bose. I thought Bose was out of line.
Mhm.
I am 100% on Amanda's side when we've learned this from Maya Angelou and Oprah Winfrey. When someone shows you who they are, believe them. And what that means to me is you should set boundaries with how people talk to you. I'm not accepting, I don't give a fuck where I'm at. I don't
Right.
care if I'm at work, um, in public. If someone is speaking to me in a way that makes me uncomfortable, I have every right to say, don't talk to me that way. So I didn't get that. And in that moment, I did feel like, and I love you, Bose. I feel like Bose is now trying to Bose is now attempting to be friends with all of these girls. And what we loved about Bose last year that we're not seeing so far this year, and I'm speaking on behalf of me first and foremost and some of the audience, what we loved about Bose last year is Bose called out everybody when they were wrong. And I did appreciate, in all fairness, when she told Dorit, okay, I don't think Kyle is not trying to be a good friend. So
Mhm.
I did appreciate Bose with that. I think when it came to Amanda, Bose for some reason has a hard on for Amanda, and I feel like she's on the hazing attack, and that's not fair.
Mhm. I agree with you. And what I took away from that scene is I don't agree with Bose because until I did a reality show 15 years ago, I had never sat in a lunch or a dinner with that many women and ever had the conversations and the harsh talk happen to where I would leave crying in the limo going home too. Like when you're on reality TV, you are speaking different to the women. You're more concise. You're more in their face in front of other women. Prior to that, when I was 33, joining this show, I had been at thousands of philanthropy luncheons and dinners, school hosting things, like all of these moms and all these women, and I had never experienced what I experienced when I sat down my first season of Orange County Housewives with those group of women because the
Hmm.
problem is we have to create a show. So to create a show, if we're all just leaving the scene to go have a one-on-one with someone, like if Dorit and Amanda had just left and gone and had a one-on-one, and they did that every single time we had a lunch or dinner, the show would never go anywhere. You have to have an ensemble group. You have to have some of the fights in front of each other, which is why it happens during a lunch or a dinner. So I agree with Amanda. I would set boundaries. I also think that she's right when she said, up until last week's dinner, I've never been spoken to like this at a group dinner. She's 100% right. It was my first time at 33 as a fish out of water of ever having to experience that. So, and Bose,
Mm.
I feel, was a little out of line. Although Bose is
Yeah.
right to her opinion also. And she's funny as heck. But
Yeah.
it's like, no, you should tell women, okay, no, 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 no. This is a no-no. And by the way, if the roles were reversed, Bose by all means would put her foot down and set her boundary. Bose is
Oh
no.
yeah, no. Bose does not strike me as the type of woman who allows anyone to talk to her and accepts it or tries to navigate. I think based on what I've seen, she's like, no, you're not going to speak to me that way. And I think Amanda has every right to say that. What was so fascinating, Alexis, in this episode was as a Rachel Zoe fan since her show, The Rachel Zoe Project, that aired for 7 seasons on Bravo years ago. This episode was the first time so far this season that I saw Rachel Zoe as a human because she had because listen, rightfully so, she's slowly integrating herself into this world of housewives, and she's not the dominant topic of conversation, right? But I thought she did a fabulous job interjecting herself where appropriate. I thought she did a fabulous job allowing us, the audience, in on what she was going through emotionally, leaving the dinner table, going outside, breaking down and crying. Really, you could tell that she is really having a hard time with being away from Roger. And what we learned this season is they've been together for 33 years.
More than half of her life is what she said in one. That's insane. I don't
33.
wait. I want to go back. I want to backtrack a little, but first I
Go
want to ask
ahead.
what what do you mean that she's having a hard time being away from Roger? I don't get that she wants him back or wants had anything to do with him at all. But you just mean the
No, no,
chorus?
no.
I
I'm
don't think
sorry.
she misses him.
No, 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 no. And that's my mistake if it came across that way. No, what I meant was she's having a hard time dealing with the fact that they're separated. Not that she wants him back, but
No,
going through the divorce.
I'll tell you exactly what her biggest problem she's having right now is that she wakes up and it got leaked and it's all over the press that the divorce is happening or that she filed. When you do file, I mean, obviously it's public knowledge. It becomes court document. Publics can read anything about that. But I think it was such a shock because she's like, I can't believe how bad this is spiraling. And the reason I know how it affects you is because the same thing happened to me season 18 when I was filming. Spencer tells me right before I'm getting ready to go on a scene. Okay, we're having an all cast party at Jim Pedrante's pool house that sitting in her backyard, and everyone said, all the girls said, "What is wrong with you? Like you are not yourself right now." I had literally found out 10 minutes before that in the car on the way here that it was going to be released tomorrow about John's lawsuit. And so for me, I'm
Oh.
sitting here going, I'm going to wake up to a storm tomorrow, like in the media. And so it completely paralyzed me for that filming. And even Tamara, who's very close to me, was like, what was wrong with you last night? And then she found out about that. And then she's like, now I get it because you were just not yourself. And all I kept thinking about the whole time I was filming was the entourage of everything out in the media. So that's what's going on with Rachel is she was trying to, I mean, she woke up to it. She didn't think, oh, it's going to happen tomorrow. She woke up to it. So she was just paralyzed. And I loved her authenticity, the fact that
Mm-hmm.
she took her glasses off and we did get to see her tears,
Mm-hmm.
and realize that she's struggling. And God bless her. I mean, these women are just going through it this year. They all just have, thank God.
Yeah.
Thank God Erica Jane's in a loving relationship right now. And we found out a little bit about that. That's a secret that's been going on and that we're happy about that. But like, because she was on Watch What Happens Live after the episode last night. So I watched it and Andy asked her, is it still going? And she's like, yep, going strong. And he's like, well, who has she met from the cast? And she's like, no one. She's a man. He ain't met nobody. Like, I'm like, okay. No, so I'm glad she's having a good time because poor Rachel, poor Kyle, poor Dorit, poor Bo's not getting pregnant or having the embryos take. Like, there's just a lot of sad, heavy, you know?
Yeah, no, it is. It is. And what's what's so fascinating about seeing stop. The dog's going crazy today.
I don't
What's
hear it
fast
though. Just to let you know, I don't hear
Oh,
them.
good. Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
Good Wi-Fi. What's good about what's going on between these ladies this season is you're seeing them more vulnerable, and that's what I appreciate about reality television. And my prediction is this though, if you really want to know,
Yes.
um, I brew a beef between Rachel, Zoe, and Kyle because
What? Where did that
oh, buddy, let me tell you something. My spidey senses, let's-
Okay.
we'll keep watching and we'll see what goes on at the
Take me
reunion
there. No, why? I need to know the why. Why? What do
because
you think it is?
when Dorit and Kyle was going at it, and Rachel interjected and was defending Dorit, and Dorit, you could tell Dorit was like, "Yes, finally, somebody is on my side." And she kept motioning her head, nodding, giving her eye contact, saying yes,
Oh,
yes, yes. And then,
ah,
oh, Alexis, honey bunny pudding pie. And then, baby girl, when um Dorit tells Kyle, you didn't just hear Rachel Zoe, she even agrees and says, and Kyle was like, I don't have to agree with her. So you don't agree with her? I don't agree with her. And I'm like, ooh, there's because
well,
the thing that Rachel Zoe has, Rachel Zoe does have what Kyle has, which is this very quiet presence, but very powerful still, and understanding how to be on the side of what she think is right and not being afraid to state her opinion. I thought it was a bold move for Rachel Zoe to come for the queen of the show, but I predict Kyle versus Rachel Zoe. I promise you. I see it. I see it.
good.
Rachel Zoe is coming for Kyle's throne. I promise you.
Good because this whole Dorit thing about the thing is getting it's boring and it's a snooze fest for a Dorit and Amanda. Who cares about the PK and what you're saying? I mean, whatever. So it's going to be great if you're right about that. But the you're very intuitive in that. That is a very good like you were what you were visualizing moving forward. And I think you're right because also now Dorit and Rachel have this like click. They've got a deeper love for each other now because they're both in the same position. And they basically just became best friends last night on that episode, So
hmm
I think you're right. I think
hmm
I think you're right.
It's going to be fascinating to see.
Can't wait.
So look, the funny thing that happened to me was they ignored Dorit's birthday cake, and Kyle's like, it's time to fucking go. Like, I'm over it. Again, amazing scene. It had a funny button to it. They're like, fuck this birthday cake. Fuck this birthday party. We're ready to go. Nobody cared about it. And they went on their merry way.
Well, the staff is happy because they got to eat that birthday cake at the end of the night, so that's fine. The waitresses are like, "Thank you guys for having this fight." Damn good cake.
How did you feel when you saw Rachel, Zoe, and Kathy meet, and Rachel Zoe tells Kathy, who is Kyle's sister, see where I'm going with this?
Uh-huh. Okay.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Dishes.
Uh-huh. And she tells her that, she's concerned about being judged in this group because she feels like people should give Dorit grace even if they disagree with how she's handling it, which the only person who disagrees with it is Kathy's sister, Kyle.
Well, I I think a lot of the women disagree with how Dorit's handling it. I think they're just not speaking up about it as much as Kyle is. I think Kathy kept her mouth shut about it. She didn't really say too much to get in the middle of it. But
Mm-hmm.
I mean, to Kathy didn't say much to Dorit about or to Rachel when she said that. She kind of kept her mouth shut. But I think even in Kathy's mind, she's thinking Dorit's probably shouldn't be speaking ill about her ex, the father of her child.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think that, but I think you're right. That makes it interesting that Rachel Zoe sat down with Kathy. So,
Yeah. Yeah, I'm telling you, raindrops. Tell me what you think. I see a battle of the Queen of Beverly Hills between Kyle and Rachel. I see it, and listen, we still have a lot more episodes plus the reunion, but I see little nuggets happening with that.
how many episodes are there? Do you know?
Normally, they get around 16 plus a three-part
Beverly
reunion.
Hills does.
Yeah,
So
somewhat the same as
we're
OC.
okay. Yeah, yeah. So OC goes sometimes over that though because they've got so much drama sometimes. What episode are we on? Was this eight or
Yeah.
seven? Eight? Oh yeah, we're only halfway there. Then if there's 16, we're halfway, guys. So we got a lot more dirt to unpack. Ooh.
Yeah, yes, yes. Um, one of the scenes that, listen, my heart goes out to Bose. We learned that her embryos didn't take.
Can I tell you something
Go
about that? So
ahead.
I Googled Bose right after that scene because I got tear choked up because I did in vitro also. We didn't need to. We had both got tested for, our fertility, but I'd been on the pill for so long that the doctor was like, "Oh, it could take her 2 years for her pituitary gland to start working again for her ovaries." Yada yada yada. Anyway, that's the medical stuff. But anyway, so at 30, no, I did it at 20 because the doctor says to Bose, because of your age, what do you think about having a younger person's eggs? So I Googled Bose because I'm like, oh God, well, how old is she? I have no clue. She's gorgeous. She looks 25,
Hmm
30. I had no idea. She's
hmm
2 days younger than me. So she's 49. She was born January 21st, 1977. I'm January 19th, 1977. So she's 2 days younger than me. And I did my in vitro at 27 and had like 36 eggs. So that's like 23 eggs at a time. Carlos, my belly was like out like this by the time they came and took my eggs. I looked 6 months pregnant. So for her to go through it at 49 and only to get one egg from each embryo does tell you what happens with a woman's body, okay, over age or over
Wow.
time. So my heart was I was seriously teary eyed because I'm like, when she got up to walk away and cry, because I'm like, I would know that pain. I would feel that because I had to go through it. And when you're going through in vitro, you are wrecking your body and you are having emotions like you have no idea. Your stomach, like she didn't feel good. She said she was so bloated. Yes, you get so bloated. It's not a fun experience. So I know that she was having heartbreak about the fact that the embryos weren't a success. And
hmm
sad because that does come with that is the age of our it's just life. It's just your body, it's and she's beautiful and I want
Yeah,
my husband to have a
yeah. Yeah, no, it's so sad because even when we saw in the we call it a round robin when they show the montage of what the housewives are doing before they get to a full scene, and you saw Bose gift her 16-year-old daughter with the Maserati,
Mhm.
and in that moment you're like, what a beautiful moment to share with your child, and the fact that she wants to have that experience with another child, with the man that she's engaged to and in love with, and the struggles that she's going through, which again is, my heart goes out to her and to her fiance,
Mhm.
because one thing I am learning, courtesy of producing reality, in addition to having friends where we're the same age in our 40s, they all do regret not freezing their eggs in their
Mhm.
20s or 30s while they were so career focused. And it's something that is super relatable. And it doesn't matter how much money you have. It doesn't matter, look, the perfect doctor, all the resources in the world. It all has to do with science. And I
Yeah.
think that's the part that we're realizing in terms of, it really honestly is the luck of the draw here.
Well, and there are women that have been in the public eye. Who was the one redhead that had twins at 50 from in vitro? And she had her first set of kids at 50. It was only, I don't know, 5 or 7 or 10, maybe less than a decade ago. But
Hmm
anyway, so some women's ovaries will still produce eggs at 49 or 50. Those were her legitimate eggs that she had the
hmm
embryos, made embryos from. My question for you was when I was watching that scene is I wanted to get your take on it because like if
hmm
I put myself in their position, let's just say that was John and I, and he'd never had his own kid, his own child yet. And he was
hmm
like, I really want a baby. I want my own. I would go through it too. I would do it for him and be like, no problem. Even if I have my 3 kids, I'll do it again for you, even though it would be so hard to be pregnant at this age now. But I would do it. And so I put myself in that position with Bose, and I was like, if I couldn't produce a kid for John, but he wanted one of his own offspring, I would, I would go research and get another egg or a younger egg. I
Mm.
would to allow my husband, because I know the gift of having your own child. I know what it feels like to have. It's the greatest gift in the world to me is my kids. So I would want to give that to him and say, okay, I will, because that baby is still going to be yours. It's just like adopting. When you adopt a kid, you
Yeah,
don't think, oh, this kid's not mine. That kid becomes yours. So
yeah.
I would let him, we would pick out the eggs together. Someone that looks like me, has the same kind of heritage or whatever, and let's go. And then he
Yeah,
could have his own babies.
yeah.
What would you do?
I agree. I agree. Listen, it's one of those things where I know women. Okay, there's two sets of thoughts here. I know a woman who had a baby in her 40s and she used a younger woman's egg, but she just wanted to have the experience of giving birth.
Ah,
That
mm-hmm.
was that was that was her thing. Like I want to have that experience, right?
So did she
Um,
start later and that's why she used younger people's eggs, or her eggs,
oh yeah,
she
she
didn't have
wasn't
it?
able. Her eggs wouldn't take.
Okay, her
Like
eggs were okay.
she went through the same process.
Okay.
So she did use another woman's egg who was younger, and they
Okay.
of course did all the things,
I
and
love that. Good for
yeah
her. It's the
yeah
best gift she's ever given herself.
yeah, and because she wanted the experience of giving birth, and I know a lot of women just want to have that experience. Um, the thing with Bose, obviously, is Bose was blessed enough to have that experience with her daughter. So it is this idea of, like you said, my man also wants a child, because his her fiance, I believe, doesn't have any. So
Is he younger? I haven't researched him.
yeah, he's younger.
He a
Yeah,
couple
I
years
don't
younger.
know how much younger he is
But
than Bose.
men's bodies aren't the same as women's. Men's sperm doesn't age the same at the same rate that the women's ovaries sometimes do. So even if he's only
Hmm.
45, he's still in his prime to have, he can still have a kid. My ex
Yeah,
was
right.
43.
Because we see Robert De Niro, honey, in his 70s having a baby on the way.
Yeah, it's men have better, I guess are better in that aspect. But
Yeah, yeah. So the thing is, she has a child, so I think for her it's just the choice of, like you said, does she still want to experience delivering, giving birth again, or does she want to just say, like you said, the other option, which is having a child that is his sperm, someone else's egg, and what that sort of looks like for them,
well, and
you know?
she can still carry the baby. She can
Oh,
still
for
be the
sure.
and have that experience with her husband. I mean, they'll be married by the time they probably end up having a kid now. But like the doctor said, we don't have time on our side. Like you can't do
Yeah.
another round of in vitro. We've got to figure this out and get it go. Like we got to get this going now. So I, you know, I don't know. Well, it's going to be interesting to see where that unfolds, but I do pray that they can make it happen and her husband gets to, or fiance gets to experience a child.
Yeah. And according to Google, they're saying he's around her age. So
Oh,
yeah,
it's still, I don't think the sperm is, it's his sperm is probably fine.
right.
She said
That's the
that
thing.
he fertilized both eggs. So
Right, right. Um, in the end of the episode, we see Rachel, Dorit, and Sutton meet. And then we see Amanda and Kyle meet, and they sort of intercutted this scene where they were talking about um Amanda and this cult. Now, one thing I do want to get into, and I wonder if you caught this. I do feel like they they throw around Amanda's age a lot when they talk about her, right? Um, Even in this scene, they're saying, be an adult. Like people are gonna talk this way, or that's what Rachel said in the scene. Last episode, Sutton said, well, she's much younger, and that's when Dorit said, she's not that young. Like, let's stop, which I thought was hilarious.
she's
I
40. She just admitted it. So she's 40.
Yeah,
So she's
she's
about
40.
20 to 30 years younger than some of these women. So I mean, she is the youngest Beverly Hills housewife. I mean, so I
Right.
don't know.
No, she's a young. I think everyone else is late 40s, early 50s. But the thing is, I do feel like I don't know. And you tell me if you got this, maybe you didn't. I do feel like they're weaponizing her age and how they speak to her. It's sort of like they talk down to her a bit as if, listen, two thoughts can be true. You don't have to understand how she made her money, manifesting and books and all that. Fine. That is more of a millennial world, right? That may be confusing for you, but she got money. She bought Kyle's house and renovated it. So that's that. Um, But I do feel like when it comes to her being 40, they do sort of weaponize her age as if she hasn't experienced life enough in order to
Right.
understand conversations with women. And I thought to myself, God forbid if Amanda came in being ageist and talking about them being older, I don't think she will be able to get away with it the way they're able to get away with it when they weaponize her age.
So true. That's so true. And by the way, if the women are 40, I thought most of the women were in their 50s. So if you're saying if a lot of these women are 40 or older, like 48 to let's just say
Hmm.
60, 'cause Kathy Hilton's, I think, what isn't she 60? But like so 48 to 60, and Tilly, how old's she? But anyway,
Hmm.
40 is not that young. You understand the way the world works by 40, and especially if you've built a darn business up to the success that she has. I think the women simply need to sit down with Erica. They need to grill her and say, "How did you
You
make
mean
it?"
Amanda,
Or Amanda, what did I say?
Erica?
Oh, oops, sorry, Erica. Yeah, sit down and grill Amanda and be like, where did it come from? They're just curious. And I don't know that the women are curious in such a negative way as just like, talk to us and let us know where all this came from and
Hmm.
the cult and tell us about the cult. They just don't like that she's not been very open or forthcoming with a lot of her things. And so I think once that conversation happens, I think by the end of the season, we might even see some of the women kind of start to like Amanda instead of hating her so much. I do. I think once they have the conversation about the cult and we all get to hear what that's all about, because Lord heaven mercy, I want to know too. And then I think, which is it in her book? Do I just need to buy her book? Is it?
Right. I mean, shit, I do.
Well, no, is it in her book? Did you read any part about the cult in her book?
Well, that's the thing. I told you I didn't finish the book.
Okay,
So
yeah,
the
that's what I wanted.
parts I
Okay,
read, I didn't we she didn't dive into. I don't
okay,
know if that's a separate I don't think that's in the book. I think from what they researched and shown, it made it seem like it was
online.
like a blog.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll do this for the raindrops next week. Okay. Because you know I like to do my due diligence. I will try to find out a little more about this cult and see what it is. Because I know we're probably going to see some of it because they ended this episode, I think, with someone saying we need to know more about the cult. And Rachel Zoe was like, "Oh, I'll do that. I've got that. I'll ask her. I'll do that." So probably next episode we might hear a
Yeah.
little bit more. But if not, Alexis Jansen's going to try to get to the bottom of it, guys. Okay.
And you will, and you will, and you will. Look, I gotta say this again. Beverly Hills, this episode, 10 out of a 10. Love it. The girls are clocked in. Alexis, Jansen, and I are happy now because we're awake and we get to. I mean, it was a sleeper in the beginning.
True.
No,
Oh my gosh, it's true. Some of our, even our podcasts, because the show was so sleepy, our podcasts were like so, I'm like, this was such a boring one when we would get off, I'm like, oh good. But
yeah, no,
we're
because
back.
nothing was happening.
We're
It's
back.
hard. Listen, it's hard for us to get excited when the episode's not excited. But again, they're back. I'm thrilled. Alexis Jansen and I will be back next week to give you guys another
Yes,
recap of
ma'am.
the Real
Sure.
Housewives of Beverly Hills.
All right, guys. Bye.
Love you, Alexis.
Love you.
Bye
Bye.
bye.